Chase Irwin. I'm a personal trainer out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Been doing it for shade over, shade under 15 years. This will be my 15th year coming up, and so
Oh, you're
I'm
cool.
pumped to I'm pumped to be up here, man, and
I
get
was
rocking
about
and rolling with
I
you.
was about to say, yes, it's nice to have you on. Now,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
know I know you did personal training. Now, how did you get into it? What made you want to start
So,
doing it?
so Quincy, funny enough, like I've worked out since I was 13 years old. I'm 36, about to be 37. And got into it. My grandfather, and just kind of grew up with it. Was super skinny kid growing up. Always was told like, "Hey, you ain't gonna have muscle, and can't do that, can't do that." The
Yeah.
typical tropes. You can't do something,
Yeah.
and so it's like, "Hey, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you how,
I'm gonna
how
show
I
I'm gonna
can
show
get down."
yeah, you don't
Uh
believe
huh.
me? I
Uh
got
huh.
it. I can do that.
Exactly. So I got into work out pretty hardcore all the way through high school, college, and then after college, just going to regular gym, with a job. But while I was at one of the gyms, one of the personal training managers had just been seeing me work out a bunch, and they come up to me one day, just like out of the blue. So what anything I thought of, just out
Oh
of the blue, he's
wow.
like, "Had you ever think about like being a personal trainer?" And I was like, I mean, my grandfather was like real big into fitness, like was one of the first dudes to like bring like a church fitness facility in the whole state. And like
Oh wow.
so we had been on it for a while. And I was like, I hadn't really thought about it for a career, but I definitely love it. And so he's like, well, check it out. And so sure enough, I went and got like my first certification, like maybe like a 3 months later,
Okay.
and just kind of started that grind like 2009-ish time frame is kind of when I started that. Took my first client on about 2009. So yeah, it's been wild, but that yeah, just literally out of the blue. Like
Wow, it
I
just
was
yeah, opportunity took it.
exactly. I was working a corporate job
Oh wow, okay.
for Hewlett Packard, and was just about to graduate. So I had a job or lined up, but I wasn't working it yet. But I was lined up to work corporate, and literally worked corporate for about 3 years, and was doing the training thing on the side, just kind of like you're saying, a little side hustle.
So yeah, a little side hustle, yeah.
Mhm, mhm. And yeah, then they kind of became a full time gig late 2012. So I've been doing it full time now about 12 years. So
Now, what was I know you said you had to get a certificate. How was the process for that? For the people
it
who
was
want to be
it,
personal trainers, what's that like?
yeah. It's pretty simple. It can be pretty simple. It can
Okay.
be as complex as you want it to be. You know, some certification are just throwing money at them,
Okay.
and
Oh
and
wow, okay.
like
Huh.
take a test. Here you go. And then some certifications, like some of the ones I've gotten in recent years, it's a long process of studying. You got to hit the books. You got to hit, a bunch of practice tests. They're gonna have like a site you go and test that, and it's a hardcore test, and
Oh wow.
you're paying for the books and stuff up front, and then you're paying for the testing when you get there. So
Also for the
you know
test
it.
itself. Ooh,
So it can be a couple $100.
okay.
It can be like 12, $1,500,
Oh
per
wow,
cert.
okay.
So you can
Ooh.
kind of yeah, you can
I
get
was gonna say
heavy
that's
with
a
it
little
now.
yeah, you can get a little
Yeah,
pricey with it.
now, generally, if you're getting up to that level, like you're getting a multi-certs, like maybe you're getting nutrition
I was
and
okay.
strength conditioning, you're getting like more than just like a PT cert, a CPT cert,
Okay, so that's what
something
I was
like that.
wondering.
But
I was wondering if there was like
mhm.
a difference in between like I know you see like at the big schools like the IMG academies and stuff, like they have the
Mhm.
nutritionists, but then you have the trainers and all that. So I didn't know if that falls into the same thing as just like you being a trainer or you get
Mhm.
another certificate also for nutrition itself.
Yeah, Q. So like depending on like what's your job description. So like a nutritionist, yeah, that they could just be another cert. And then like say you have a dietitian, that would be a whole nother degree together. So that'd be a whole college like
Oh
extra
wow.
thing. Like so that's it, like they vary in degrees of like what they can give advice wise. And then like, your basic personal training stuff will touch a little bit on nutrition. So
Okay.
you'll have some basic knowledge of what you've learned, but they definitely don't harp on as much. Like just last year, I got an NSCM, uh, a nutrition. I'm trying to think if it had anything else on it. Nutrition and training started that like little combo pack. So I got one of those, and so like that was pretty chill. But definitely like a lot more. That would be a lot more on the study side versus like the very first one I got was like an ISSA certification. It was like bare bones, simple. Like I literally
Simple.
just like getting something to start. That was what it was at the time.
Nice, nice. Now, for people, when you're a personal trainer, how was it finding clients when you were first starting out? Like, how was the process as a trainer starting out? Like, I know they have
You know,
gyms like Planet Fitness where they have the trainers,
yeah, yeah.
but
It,
how does that work for like, I
it,
know you have a home gym and have
so,
clients.
yeah, so yeah, when I was starting out, I was kind of in that. I was at a 10 Fitness.
Okay.
So I worked at a 10 Fitness while I was working my corporate job, and they were literally just bringing me the clients from
Clients and
that.
stuff.
And so from 2009 till 2014, when I left the commercial gym space, they were the main bringer of clients.
Okay.
And then we had Asher in 2014, and I was like, I got to peace out and get my own thing going.
Nice.
And so from then I was able to have, because luckily it worked out great for me, because the gym at that time was switching from a personal training group that was in the gym
Mhm.
to doing all the in-house training themselves. And so it was no break of contract. It just, I didn't get on another contract, so I had
Huh.
no issue with like bringing my clients with me or anything like that. So it was
Oh,
like
that's nice.
big it was a big blessing like that. So I was able to go straight into straight into training again with like, not everybody comes with you, but
But
I had a
yeah,
good group of folks that came with me. And then over the years, it's just been word of mouth. I've had folks that bring their family, their friends, they tell a coworker,
that's
so
cool.
it's just been, you know, hopefully I'm doing a good enough job that it reflects on the people telling other people. So,
I was gonna say I know you've worked with some of the high schools I know and played basketball against like Arkansas Baptist and I know CAC.
mhm.
How does
Yeah,
that
yeah,
work for training wise? Like when you do athlete training for schools,
yeah.
do you strictly do it at your home gym or do you also use their facility like school wise as well?
Yeah, yeah. So at Arkansas Baptist or Baptist Prep now, I was their strength and conditioning coach at the gym
Oh, okay.
for just a shade or maybe just that 5 years
Oh,
over there. So like when Isaac and all them were going through,
yeah.
and a couple of the older grades, I was doing the strength and conditioning full time over there,
Oh, that's
on top of my personal
on
training
top of
business.
it.
So
Oh, that's
yeah,
nice.
so I was over there maybe like 10 hours a week or so, and I would just train groups in the morning time. And so, yeah, I mean, obviously, like, it varies there because, like, at the home gym, I got one, two folks at a time.
Yeah.
There I was seeing 40 kids at a time.
I was
So
about
we
to say
were.
you got a full summer
It,
camp pretty much.
it's exactly. That's a big change in like how you approach, your training, how you're going to approach, conversating. Because with one on one, you're just having a conversation with the person all the time.
Right.
When you're there with a big group, you just got to keep it all in a flow. So you don't really have those. Maybe the warm ups or maybe like the end of the workout, you can have a little interaction between folks. Most of the time, you're just trying to keep everybody on track because you only got 45 minutes. So you're just like, all right, we gotta get bam, 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 all these things done.
Oh
So
yeah, a whole set of things done.
yeah, yeah. So it's just a little different in how you interact, and yeah, and using their facilities was great because there's no way in the world I was gonna have space,
I
over here to do anything. It's
I
just
be- I
you just
believe it.
yeah, you just going up a creek if you're trying to bring 5, 6
I was
people
about
over
to
to
say
home gym.
I
So
think the max I've seen there is about 5 or 6. I think just about
yeah,
5 or 6 at the gym.
exactly. I was about to say, yeah, when you're around here, that's about all you could handle for sure.
Nice. Now I know with the internet and the fitness industry, now there's a bigger presence online for like personal fitness and personal health.
Yeah.
How have you adapted to that trend and maybe got a bigger market or more clients through
Hmm.
social media and things like that? How have you adapted with that?
Yeah, Quincy, that's there is a much larger online presence for most folks, and some folks do training solely online. I dabbled in it pretty hard back in 2013.
Okay.
There was a fitness site at the time called Fitocracy, and it was like a gamified fitness site. You put in your workouts, you got points, your character leveled up. Like it was kind of like this cool thing. And unfortunately, it got bought up by the wrong folks. They really just didn't do anything with it. But back at the time, it was super fun, big community. I had a pretty good following base there, and I was one of their initial personal training coaches, basically that
All
they
right.
just had on the site and would run group training. And so there was probably a year I was training 50 plus new folks every month,
Oh
like
wow.
that way, and just to their site. So that was pretty cool. That was good. That was good at that time when I was hadn't quite transitioned to my own thing yet, still, working at the gym. So, and then when I got on my own, um, I've dabbled in it on and off. I think
Gotcha.
I just really feed off of the one-on-one interaction with folks. I like talking. I like, it just feels a little better. I'm a little more comfortable in that scenario versus like sending an email out, like here's your script, here's what you got to do, here's your nutrition, like, and then just like hands off, wait until the check-in at the end of the week, and it's like you don't really know how things are going. So I don't know. It never quite fit me, or like I wasn't great at it. And I'll put it that way. I
Gotcha.
just wasn't. It wasn't where I fit. Wasn't where I was like vibing. So I was like, all right, let me go. Just put all my effort into one on one in person, and I'm gelling, and I love it. So
That's good. That's good. Now, I know you do one-on-one. So do you just strictly do like fitness and like strength and conditioning and working out, but do you also give them like a meal plan, a part of it, or is
so,
that an extra service you
so
offer?
yeah. So like generally, back to like what we are talking about earlier with like dietitians.
Mhm.
Technically, they're the only group of folks that can give out like set meal plans. So
Gotcha.
as a trainer, it's not really in your bag to say you're eating this for every meal. Bam, bam, bam.
Okay.
Now, with that said, you can give them advice based on like a structured set of calories. Like we all have estimators, we all have ways. We've seen it for years. We've worked with enough folks that we can say, all right, Q, I want you eating, 2,100 calories a day. I want you having, 185 grams of protein. I want you just divvying your carbs and fats up amongst the rest of your calories. And then we can look at like what you eat and say, all right, what you just ate there, like that ate up too much of your fat probably. So now you're gonna have issues late in the day. Let's adjust like what that food group, like what that is right there.
Okay. Okay.
So where I might not tell you like, hey, I need you to have 6 ounces of chicken and broccoli and rice for this meal. I can't say like, hey, why don't you try to get like 25% of your calories at this meal, and
Okay.
then let you kind of pick and choose what you want to eat and fit what our goals are, So it's, we definitely talk diet plenty because if you're going to get the max results, you better have that diet tight.
I was gonna say,
Or,
I know
or at
diet's
least,
important.
oh, it is, or at least trending in the right direction. Just every day trying to get a little better at those things that are around you 24/7 because food is
Okay.
around us all the time. So,
I was about to say, I know you have those cheat days where like, we had a cheat meal, and
mhm,
then the cheat meal
mhm.
turns into a cheat week after a while.
Yeah,
So
that's exactly right.
I believe it. Now with how do you promote like diversity and like inclusivity into your fitness classes? Like when you have like a newcomer into your fitness program, how do you kind
Yeah,
of make them feel comfortable with the training and just the home gym itself? Like if they've never been to a home gym and a personal
yeah, yeah.
trainer of that sort.
I think it just all comes in that like initial interview. Like most time I do a phone call with folks
Okay.
before I get them in house, and so like I think it's just like run through like, hey, here's what a session looks like. Here's it's going to be just you here and me. So like there's not going to be anybody else watching you or like there's no need to be nervous. Like, and I guess it probably helps a lot that most time I'm getting recommended from people I know. So they
Gotcha.
they kind of have probably a pretty good understanding of like what it looks like when you come in. I'm right away I'm not going to be a boot camp guy. I'm not yelling at folks. I've never been. I'm gonna be putting you through it, but I'm gonna have a smile on my face while I'm putting you through it. So, I'd like to make people feel comfortable like that. You always communication as a trainer, communication is key. There
Mm.
is no one way to do anything. If something feels off, I want you to know that it's okay to talk to me about it's feeling off, and we'll make an adjustment
Gotcha.
because there is no one right way to get the whole job done. So, we want to make everybody feel comfortable when they come in that, hey, we can get the whole body work, but it may look different from person A to person B. So,
Right. Now, what
yeah.
what's one of the best client success stories you've had uh in your training times that's really like made you want to keep going, that's like really gave you a bigger smile on your face, like you came this far, like you started with me and I've seen you progress this far.
Yeah, yeah. I've had a few like because for the most part, and again, they're not like the sexiest stories because I train folks like all over the spectrum, but the majority of my clients are probably 60 plus,
Okay.
So our main objective at that age group is not necessarily these big body transformations. It's longevity. It's staying healthy as we age. It's, things like I don't fall. I don't. And so like probably like some of the biggest like successes. Well, I've had some awesome like young folks when I was doing like bodybuilding shows and stuff. Like and that's always fun to see someone take their body to like extremes. But you know, as a younger folk that doesn't have like family and all this stuff, it's not necessarily as hard. It's
Right.
hard on you physically, but you don't have a lot of other things drawing your attention.
Doing,
But
yeah.
having like a lot of my folks that are, you know, grandmothers or stuff, and I always say I want you to be able to do things physically,
Right.
and 6 months later, somebody like, I forgot I could never even pick that up. Or and so I've had folks that'll be like, I hopped up in the back of my truck and I hopped in my truck in 10 years, you know, like it's wild. Like so I think it's more like those little things because you know, I've got like guys like Aaron within a year like dropped like 48 pounds and like got shredded to the bone like right
Oh
before he
wow.
like hey, he's in Texas now too. And so like those are always awesome like to see, but I think it's like I really know that for a healthy kind of latter half of your life, what we're doing in the weightlifting is just paramount for longevity, health, being able to take your body where you want to take your body. You know, do you want to travel? Do you want to do these things? Do you want to play with your grandkids? Do you want to, you've got to be strong to be able to do all those things. And so seeing folks who are able to keep up and continue doing that stuff and just like that's the stuff that every day makes me want to go out there and like I don't like missing days because of that. Because like if I know if I'm not working, you're not working. So I
Right.
like to get out there and get it going. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, my next question is, what's your biggest challenge in your industry or just in what you're doing as a personal trainer? What do you feel like the biggest challenge is for you?
I think like for most personal trainers, what they'll see you get in here for exactly kind of what you're saying. Like, we want to have big transformations, like big splash stuff. But the majority of your clients just aren't going to fall in that big transformation thing. They're coming to you, they're wanting to get a good workout in. And, they may really shut down their fitness a lot of the week past that.
Yeah.
So it's like just keeping your head on straight, knowing that when they come in and they get you give them a good workout, even if they're not like seeing big results, it's like, you're doing your job as best you can and then just constantly being there to like when they ask and they're ready to move them forward. And if they're never there, just being there to conversate with them, be able to like give them a good workout.
Right.
And so like I think that's a big challenge and why a lot of folks get industry just because it's hard to get clients. Like I mean, if we're talking if any industry, if you don't have clients, you don't make money.
We're all, yeah. Nothing, no
You,
money,
you're,
no, nothing happening here. Nothing happening.
and that's why most trainers are out of the industry. And like I think of 6 months is the typical like lasting time of a trainer.
Wow, really?
Because oh yeah, because it's just like you're sitting in a gym, I mean, especially if you're sitting in a gym because you're sitting up there all day. At first you may only have 4 or 5 clients over the course of a whole day, and you're just kind of like twiddling your thumbs.
I was
You
gonna
know,
say, yeah. If you're, yeah, because
you're not,
working at a gym is kind of different versus like how you do it working at
e-
home.
exactly. Yeah, I got a break. I'm just sitting on my couch, or I'm going for a walk, or whatever it may be. You're at the gym, you're just sitting at the front desk, like chatting it up, like whatever that may be. But like it's hard to kind of just mentally, and then like I said, like majority of my clients are older population.
Right.
It's like that can kind of be unattractive for a lot of folks. They think they're getting in the industry with like, all right, I'm gonna get these athletes, and I'm gonna, then we're gonna go hard, and they're gonna train. And it's like, oh, we gotta deal with like the shoulder injury and this like these knee replacements, and it's like,
You're doing a lot of recovery work instead of what you're expecting off the
the,
rip of what
the,
everybody else sees
the,
training wise.
it,
Like, oh,
it,
we're doing all this and all this, but it's really just recovery work for the first few months.
exactly. It can be a lot of things. So it's just like kind of set your expectations that like, hey, you're dealing with all the general population folks now. These are the real folks. And so yeah, I mean, if the biggest struggle is always like, do you have clients? I mean, it just you don't have clients, you can't be a trainer. Just
Yeah, basically, yeah.
that,
You might as well you're training yourself. You're yourself.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh-huh. And then once you have clients, is like realize that they're all gonna have different goals. Unless you set your niche for like, I'm only gonna train, you know, 35 to 55-year-old moms or so, like unless you
Something
set your niche to where it's like these are gonna be a similar group.
right.
Like but like for guys like me who like have just a broad spectrum, I've got 12-year-olds up to like 75-year-olds.
Oh wow.
So, broad spectrum, all kinds of like life histories and and injuries and stuff they have never done before. Like, so you got a lot of things you just have to keep in mind that like no one person can look the same. So
Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice.
you
Yeah,
know,
that
yeah,
makes sense. Now I know when working out, part of it's going to the gym, but the other part's
yep.
your mind. Now, how do you keep your
Hmm.
clients engaged and like motivating them to kind of keep going? Because I know some people,
Hmm.
it's the start of a new year, so I know the memes are going around like the gym's gonna be packed, but give it till maybe February, we're back to everybody that stays consistent. How do you kind of maintain your
Right.
clients and let them,
And,
consistency?
and that's yeah, and like I mean, you hit the head of the nail. Like consistency, like you can have a hardcore workout program, but if you only do it for 30 days, like you're not gonna get very far.
Yeah.
And so like our major goal with anybody that comes in is like progression through strength training.
Gotcha.
So, we want you to see from baseline day one that after 90 days, after, 180 days, after whatever it is, time frame wise, you have gotten stronger and you've progressed up. So things you weren't able to do 6 months ago, you're able to do now. And and so therein lies like the greatest thing. The consistency was like I was consistent for 6 months, and now I've reaped the rewards
Yeah, you see the results.
because again I can chat it up with you all the time, like, oh, Bobby's been doing this, like, but until you see it for yourself, it's like I can spit all the Rocky Balboa motivational talks I want to,
Right.
and until it sinks in your head that I am gonna put forward the effort, it's just not there. So as far as us, we're gonna lay the plan out. I'm gonna lay the plan out and say, if we stick to this, here's what we can expect. Somewhere in these ranges. It's not guaranteed, but we can expect somewhere in these ranges in 30 days, in 60 days, and next year. It's not a fitness is not a race where you hit a finish line. It's a lifelong journey that you're
Yeah.
on now. So if you can kind of see to the end of your time, it's like, all right, just know that you're going to be on along with your life is going to be this little thing called fitness
Yeah.
going side by side on that track. So
And keep it in. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, because I know that's kind of the biggest thing with most people is that consistency of going to the gym
hmm
and everything of the sort. Because like I was saying before we started, was like you go to work, you're tired from work. Now you have to find
hmm
that discipline of going to the gym, sweating, working out even more, kind of working out, killing the body a little bit,
yeah.
and then going
hmm
home and then being sore afterwards, and then going to work in the
Right.
morning and just repeating it again
Yeah. Yeah. That frees up.
a little bit. I think so.
Okay. The audio still coming through clean though?
Yeah, no, you're still coming through.
Okay. Okay. I got my screen's just frozen up. So I can still hear you just fine.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, yeah. I mean, like along those lines, like, yeah, if you don't have like a plan in place,
Yeah,
like that's where like those days where like you don't want to go to the gym. If you don't have anything in place, like what's to send you there?
right.
Versus like, so two big things, plan, and then yeah, if you're like, yeah, you got a roommate, your roommate work out with you.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like having a workout buddy, like having
Yeah,
somebody you gotta stay committed to, like I think that's why a lot of folks do come to trainers is like it gives them like a appointment on the schedule. I'm gonna
yeah.
show up, versus like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym 3 days a week this week. If
I
there's
was
nobody waiting for you there, it definitely is. It can be a turn off on days when you don't feel like it. You know?
I've been there. I've been there. I can totally understand that. And that I feel like that's the
Yeah.
hardest part of like the fitness nowadays is just in general of like you don't feel like it. And so once
Hmm.
you don't feel like it, that's when you stayed consistent, like you went consistent the whole week. Well, it's like I did good this week. I could
Uh-huh.
miss if I had a schedule this week of last week I had a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, I could just go Wednesday and then maybe Friday and
Hmm.
because I did good
Yeah.
last week. So, they try to skimp themselves, but I see what you're saying. When you have a trainer, it's like, hey, we got this schedule. This is your week.
Uh-huh.
Let's get everything
Uh-huh.
going.
Yeah. Yeah. You miss it. Like, hey, where were you today?
Yeah,
Hey, so somebody, now they can't be accountable for you showing up, but they can check on you after the fact and be like, hey, you missed out. That's
yeah,
one less day we had to get better right there. So, less, yeah, it just like, again, for a lot of folks, that's one of the big reasons why they hang around. I try to tell everyone when they come in, we're
yeah,
gonna try to learn enough that you could competently do this on your own. if
Okay.
you wanted to. And if you want to keep coming in and just because this is your only way you're going to show up, keep coming in. But if
Nice.
you feel good about what all we've done and you feel like you go to a gym and stay consistent, hey, more power to you. I want you to do that. The main
Yeah.
thing I'm looking for here is that you work out. I don't care if it's with me, if it's with whoever. I
Sure.
want you working out because again, that's what you're going to reap the most out of your life the rest of your days. So
Nice. Nice. Well, that's
yeah,
all I have for you. It was great to have you on, Mr.
awesome,
Chase. It was great to talk to you.
awesome, dude.
And
Absolutely.
I need to get a workout plan for you. I'm gonna shoot you a message soon.
Hey,
I need a workout
come on, back.
plan. I need
Yeah.
to get back on it. So I'll shoot
All
you a
right,
message
come
after
with it.
this, and I need to get on that. So thank you
Sounds
again for
sounds
being
good, dude.
on, and you have a great
My
night.
pleasure. Hey, good luck, brother.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, absolutely.